The Olympus IS-20, yet another example of a bridge camera from the days of film. And another example where they aren't all that great. Well, this is a more modern film camera. The images I shot with it were crisp, clear, and sharp, laced in daylight and when scanned with the Epson V700. It does, however, let me down with its utter dependence on electronics and automation. The film winding is motorized. The lens is autofocus only. And the zoom is also motorized. Exposure is handled automatically as well, with it being dependent on DX code. In the absence of DX code, this camera will default to ISO 32. This one does, however, let you use films as slow as 25 and as fast as ISO 3200. There are, however, options to override the aperture or to use the max shutter speed of 1/2000. Can't do both. The shutter can, however, go as slow as 4 seconds, or possibly 60 seconds if you manually set it to f8. As for this lens, it's 28 to 110 millimeters with f4.5 at the wide end to f5.6 at the long end. 11 elements in 9 groups, with 5 group zoom construction, 52 millimeter front filter thread diameter, things like NDs, CPLs, Pro Mists, and other effects. Do be careful though, as this uses phase autofocus and light metering works through the lens. There's also the matter of the focal plane shutter, flash sync speed of just 1/100. And I would be particularly careful in low light or using ND filters on this thing. Alright, for my typical use case of photographing stuff at boardwalks during the day, this at least doesn't disappoint. It's actually hard to disappoint then. Lower light conditions, that flash will actually strobe just like that to provide enough light for the autofocusing to happen. And mentioning the flash, it does not automatically pop up. This is one of those few things that you have to do manually on this camera. See, the power switch slides towards you here to pop up the flash. I typically don't use it though, because most of the time I'm shooting this in the middle of the day. See, also this little window here, which lets you see what film you loaded in. The standard issue 1/4-20 tripod threads. And the best part, the lens cover on this thing. It's on an edge. It gets out of the way when you turn it on. And there's no losing it because it's always attached. I mean, look at it, it's bloody brilliant. But I still don't quite like film bridge cameras, at least to the fixed lens and automatic variety. Oh yes, the Murray Lynn. Easily the best boat on the dock here. Oh, what the hell am I saying? I'm just talking out my ass again. Right, all the preceding shots I took of this at full auto. But I have 4 override options. There is the amount of depth of field, override option, max shutter speed option. Best of all, this F number button. 4, 5, 5, 6, 8, 11, 16, 22. This, we could force this to shoot wide open. Okay, in order to take advantage of the shallower depth of field, however, we will have to leave the dock. F45 f5.6. Zoomed in, it's f5.6. It's like barely 20 degrees out here. It was like 30 yesterday. 37th shot on a roll of film would be more a curse than a blessing sometimes. That means I'm going to have one shot that's hanging out the holder. I'll probably write down some information somewhere. Take a picture of that. Now the modes this thing has, I really don't make much use of. Point and shoot, I expect to just have it and point it, shoot with it. I don't want to think about what mode I use for what. And yeah, in most cases you will be perfectly just fine leaving this in full auto, unless you're trying to photograph somebody standing in front of the sun, backlit. In that case, that's what the spot metering is for. Now the exposure latitude of a good negative film should be sufficient to account for some of the errors by way of auto exposure. As for slide film, I can't say. No, all in all, it's a camera. It takes decent pictures provided you're fine with not having certain freedoms, like manual exposure controls, or maybe actually owning the products you spent your hard-earned credit on. To me though, a single lens reflex camera without any manual exposure controls or overrides is as much a travesty as a truck with an automatic gearbox and all the manual overrides disabled. Honestly, I don't even know why I do these lame-o reviews of old automatics I find at the local thrift store / charity shop or even the one from eBay. Maybe it's the nostalgia of it. The wanting to be back in the good old days and people weren't glued to their phones scrolling Instagram and TikTok. And at any rate, this and the Samurai will be the last automatic point-and-shoot type cameras I'll be videoing. After that will be no more. I'm going to focus on more traditional manual SLRs and maybe the Minolta Maxim / Dynax 5000 AF that I started off my misadventures in film photography with.